went out to smoke a cigarette at 10:30 last night, Donnell. The moon was out.
Okay.
You know what was also out?
What?
The sun. This is unacceptable for humans.
It's summer, man. That's what happens.
I'm becoming an old man, so I wake up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom.
Yep.
Regularly, been going on for like 6 months now.
Right.
Woke up like 3 in the morning.
Mhm.
Sun shining through the window. Unacceptable.
Yeah.
We are not in the Arctic.
Nope.
We're close,
Mm-mm.
but we are not in the Arctic. Okay, this is unacceptable.
Yeah.
So I'll crochet another octopus.
Yeah. I was about to say, notice your octopus collection has done a little growing.
I got
there,
a
Robert.
jellyfish over there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
A little jellyfish guy
Little
playing around.
jellyfish,
That was a
you
little
got-
free hand.
Yeah. Got a couple octopuses of varying colors. You got a red and black one. It's just what's going on, Robert? What's going on in your life?
I got to do something with my hands at work, and I got a bag of yarn.
I got
a bag of yarn.
What's up with the
underneath it.
octopus?
I don't know. I got no particular affinity towards octopuses. It's just I wanted to get into amigurumi, and that was the pattern.
I got it.
The free pattern, because they're expensive. Those patterns.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you tried to find any, but
I mean,
they did not. They did not just post those for free most
I've
of the
looked
time.
up some and stuff. Like I found
Damn Raverly or whatever it's called.
found a pattern for the stitch that one day.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
And then I also I got a pattern, but it's one of the things, and I guess it's like
I think if you made the 2 octopuses that I sent you links to,
yeah,
like the little deformed one and like the regular kind of more
Mhm.
realistic one, I think you would have all the skills that you need to do the stitch.
all right, yeah, that's what's next. Right now I'm finishing up.
You're stitching a stitch.
Yeah, I'm stitching a stitch. Yes, I'm working on right now. Well, I'm working on a granny square quilt, which
Yeah,
makes
I've
me
never
feel,
done a granny square quilt.
It's interesting. It makes me feel weird because I feel like they're called granny squares.
Yeah.
And I am a
Oh, it is definitely. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
big male crocheting community for sure, but it is definitely a woman centric
Oh yeah.
situation.
I
So it's hard to find like cool manly
Yeah.
dolls to quilt.
But so I'm working on that. I'm making it's gonna be a 4 by, well no, actually technically it's gonna be I guess that's 8 by okay, no. What's 8 times 5? 40? Yeah,
Yes.
40. Yeah, so it's gonna be 40 squares down,
That's long.
and then am I doing this math right? Anyways, I'm doing, so what I did, I got some red yarn, made a bunch of granny squares.
Okay.
Then I looked up online, I was like, how do I connect these things?
Oh yeah.
And they're like, oh, you got to basically take another yarn, you can use the same color or another yarn, and you go around those squares, and then when you get to the corner, you do this to connect them, do some slip
Yeah.
knots. And so I decided to do black, and so I started doing black around them.
Yeah.
But then I ran out of black after I did connect my first 4 squares.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's do a different color. So I got white. So it's a red, black, and white going on with basically 4 squares and then black border and then 4 squares, white border around those, and it's doing that pattern and stuff. And yeah, it's very time consuming. It's very, because like gotta make all the, like every time I finish a whole row, I'm like cool, and then there's this period of okay when I gotta make a bunch more red granny squares.
Yeah.
And then once I always make all the ones I need for that next row, and then I gotta take it, and I really the combining together when you're adding them, that part also gets really like, sometimes it's so hard to keep it tight.
Yeah.
Like, it's so
Yeah.
sloppy.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing it in my bed, and I have it all I try to fold it up as much as possible so I don't have it all spread out.
Oh yeah, no, making all the
And
blankets, the big blankets that I've
Mhm.
got here, like it is working with that
Yeah.
when it like gets big is
Yep.
difficult.
And yeah, and then I mean, I have a cat.
Yeah.
You would think the thing that he'd be most enthralled with when it comes to crocheting would be all the yarn and string and dangly bits, right?
No, they don't have your stank on it yet.
Well,
But the
thing,
blanket have your stank
no,
on it.
but
Oh.
that's what I'm saying. No. You would think that'd be what he's most engaged with. Know what he always is picking at and trying to get a hold of and trying to chew on? For some reason, my freaking hooks.
Huh,
Like, when I put my
interesting.
hook down, he's like starts biting on it. I have to grab, or sometimes, well, and I'll be trying to crochet some, and all of a sudden, he was have his like his paw on the end of it. I'm like, stop that! I'm like, I'm using this. I'm like, you're supposed to be a cat. You're supposed to be like, ooh, ball of yarn, which he did that once, only once, and he knocked it off the bed and it unraveled across the floor. I was like, damn it! But other than that, he hasn't really messed with the yarn too much and stuff. And so I was like, I know what's wrong with this cat. I'm like, leave my hooks alone, you weirdo.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely. I mean, I've got so, and it only happened. So it happened once the first time, which was very alarming. Is I think I just over crocheted, which I guess is
Oh,
illegal,
yeah, you get them hand cramps,
and
man.
yeah, my hand. I woke up and like really, it was this finger right here, my
Yeah.
middle finger on my left hand, just a
Are you
lot of
holding the tension of
pain.
the yarn with your middle
I'm
finger?
trying to, yeah.
Oh, you
So
gotta do it with the index finger,
well,
man.
no, the index finger holds it up, but then it's like to keep the thing I don't know,
Oh,
whatever, but it's
yeah.
a lot of pain, and then it's happened twice since, and when it happens, my finger locks up
Oh,
where,
yeah.
like, this joint right here, it doesn't bend like how this naturally bend, it just snaps from this spot to this
Yeah.
spot, like,
So he's talking
instantly.
about the first joint in the
Yeah,
tip of the finger. Yeah.
it just gets locked up where it's like there's no bend except it's just
Yeah.
a snap to the next position. It's and I was just like, it's happened twice now, and ever now I try to. I always be like 1 to 2 days of crochet and then a day off. Like,
You gotta get
I
a
I
so
take a break because I'm just like the thing that sucks is on my day off day, I get very frustrated where I'm just like, I'll be like, "Yeah, let's watch some TV," and I'm like, "I could be I'm gonna crochet." But I can't. I can't. I'm like, "No,
you know, like,
you
when
gotta
they
pace yourself."
at work and, like, typing classes and stuff, they're like, "Okay, like, every couple of hours, you need to do, like, some hand, like,
Mhm.
stretching and
Oh,
exercising and shake it out." It's
yeah.
like, that is a you gotta do that
I'm
crocheting,
doing
man.
that all the time with my hands now. I'm
Yeah.
constantly just like rotating my fingers through all the positions and stretching them and
Oh,
just
yeah.
making all this stuff like all the time now. Like whenever I'm not doing something, I'm just like, all right,
Yeah.
let's make sure these fingers are all working.
Welcome to Stitching It, episode 1.
Yes. Our new podcast, we are starting once
Yeah.
watching it and
Yeah, yeah.
talking it in.
Nope, this is Talking It, brought to you by Watching It, the countdown episodes. Episode 3?
Episode 3.
Episode 3.
Yeah, yeah.
2 more to go.
Two more, well, three more to go.
3 more to go?
Well, no. Wait. Yeah,
Are
wait.
we on 4? What are we did I get the count wrong?
I think we got the count wrong because we still have your movie, the retrospective, and one more talking it.
Okay, well, I don't know what number we're on.
Yeah, so I got this. I mean, maybe the last episode is like the penultimate 0 episode.
There we go.
There we
Yes,
go.
the 0.
So
Yes.
yes, we'll just cut 3. We're sticking with 3. Next one will be 2, 1, and then the final episode will be 0.
Whatever, it doesn't matter.
It
No one
doesn't.
cares.
Yeah. Hey, remember we have a fan.
It's all made up. It's all made up. It's all made up.
Um.
Yeah, crocheting has been crazy. I'm really
Mhm.
just trying to use up a bunch of scrap yarn that I have
I I mean, I sent you that.
from winter projects.
Yeah. I sent you that photo of so Joanne Fabrics, if you're
Oh,
listening,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
going out of business. I went one is like
I
was the
seem to
weirdest.
recall that I have some sort of philosophical problem with Joanne, and that's why I don't go there.
Yeah, I did not know. But I went in there and one is like it's weird being in a dying store. Like everything half
Oh,
of it
yeah.
is empty
Oh, dude, there was a
and
time that
there
I went to Bed Bath& and Beyond
mhm.
to get something, and this was, like, 6 months before they announced bankruptcy and closure,
Yeah.
and I walked in there and I was like, "There's something wrong. I need to short the stock on this place."
Yeah.
Like, these shelves are bare.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
and everybody that works there seems very depressed.
Mhm.
Like, it's
So I was at the store and it's funny because it was like me. There came in after me was a woman and her husband, but he was the only other man in the store. There's a bunch of women and there's a bunch of like, elderly women. And I'm like, yep, nothing like me and a bunch of grandmas picking over the carcass.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like,
No, that's
but
like
like,
every time I go to Michael's, I'm
mhm,
like especially if it's, like, middle of the day,
yeah.
it's just like, I am they all the women are like, "What is this doing here?
Yeah, I'm like, what is does
A
he
gentleman in the wild?"
does he know where he is?
Yeah.
Someone comes, are you lost, young man? But, yeah, no, I got quite the haul because they were selling everything for dirt cheap, and I was like, I just was like, "Ooh, this looks like nice color," and I got this, so I bought myself a little wooden box that I keep all my crochet stuff in, and it sits in the closet. I'm just like, "Yeah,
I'm
yeah,"
stocked up.
and then I'm like, "How did my life get to this
Me. The
where I
answer
was just
anytime you ask, "How did
thrilled?"
my life get here?" Robert is the cause.
Yes, yes.
Oh, man.
The other day, I was lying in bed, and I
Crocheting. Go
nope,
on.
nope, nope, nope.
Oh.
I crochet most of the time. I mean, sometimes I get up and crochet, but most of the time, I crochet is more of a
Do
mid
it
to
in your
late time day
I swear I
thing.
just fell asleep at work crocheting, and it's like I woke up and I was like, "This project continued while my eyes never." I was unconscious and crocheting in my sleep at my desk.
But no, I just woken up at my normal wake up time of 11 a.m. because I ain't got no freaking job.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And I was lying in bed, and I pulled out my cell phone to do my cursory check things out, like what's going on with that, any calls, messages I missed, checking my email, and I see an email from my insurance company.
Okay.
Um,
This seems bad.
well, yeah, yeah. I was just like, I mean, well, yes and no. They send out newsletters, so most time it's like, "Oh, whatever, this and that." But this one did have a different look to it. So I click and open it up, and it said that we will be canceling your insurance as of July, I think 6th. And I'm
Now is this
sitting there,
car or house?
car
Okay.
insurance. I'm sitting there like, um, why?
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't. I mean, okay. So I have gotten one ticket, but it's not on my record and stuff. And it was, I mean, I think a year and a half ago at this point. It was like right after I got my new car and stuff. Um, yeah, I got one ticket. It was when I was coming over here, actually. But anyways,
Yeah, yeah, I remember
but
that.
other than that, like I said, other than that, haven't had no accidents, no other anything, and I'm just like, what the hell? All of a sudden, so I call them up and I'm like, hey, you guys have canceled my insurance, and I don't know why. And like, oh well, it looks like a driver on your insurance because of their driver record, we can't cover you anymore. And
What?
I'm like, well, me
Yeah.
and my I haven't not what changed my driver, and they're like, no, it looks like it's a we need a gauche, and I'm like, my mom, and they're like,
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
and so then I'm
Because she
just
just
like,
got in a wreck recently.
yeah, so he got in a car accident, and she also got a speeding ticket a little bit earlier, and I'm just like, okay, well, like, and then I remembered that yes, so when I was got my first car, I was still living at home with my mom, and like she would occasionally need to drive it, so I just was like, yeah, I'll just put her on my insurance. So she's been on my insurance. This was when I got my first, not my first car. This is when I got as in I purchased my first car
Yeah,
because I had a
yeah,
car
yeah.
before this, but and stuff. And I got my first car, I think, when I was 19. And I said, I had a car before this, but it wasn't mine. You know, my dad bought it for me or whatever, and I was on his insurance. So I think it was 19. That's when I got my insurance. I am 37 years old now, and like I said, I just never thought about it. I just whenever I would get a new car or re-up my insurance, I just keep everything the same, you know. And so my mom kept being on my insurance, um, and I'm just like, okay, so she's on my insurance, but she's not me. Like I am not her, she is not me. So I'm just like, cool. Can we remove her and I keep my insurance? It's like, no, they said it's non-negotiable, and I'm like, but I'm my driving record, as you can see, because you're the insurance company, my driving record is spotless, essentially. And I've been with you guys for 2 decades actually, and I was just like, I've had no accidents, nothing. And I'm like, so why can't I continue to have insurance? Like they just said it's non-negotiable, and I'm
Mm.
just like, okay, cool. And he's like, do you want to talk to like a escalation dude? And I'm like, sure. He's
Yeah.
like, he's probably gonna say the same thing. I'm like, I don't care,
Well,
whatever.
then I'll talk to the
And so
manager, the next escalation there.
I get over to that guy. He basically tells me the same thing. I'm just going, and then I'm just like, well, okay, but like, you know, I'm not loyal to my insurance company, but it's more of
Oh, of
this
course not.
ease of use
I
in a
mean, you should be
sense.
calling every year to see if you can get a better
Yeah,
offer from
and
somebody.
so I'm like, listen, I'm not looking to go anywhere else. I don't like, especially right now with the way things are in my life. I'm not changes are not something I really can handle right now
Yeah.
because of no job, no income. Like
I
if I
mean,
go
it's
to something else,
insurance. It's not a big change. It's not
yeah,
like you're
but
gonna have to pay a lot to.
maybe, maybe not. You know, when you get to the depending on who you go to, and also, but so I'm just like, listen, I just want to keep my insurance and all that stuff, and I'm like, why can't we just remove her from my thing? And he's like, well, they're just saying not, and it's like and so then he's like, well, we had someone in a similar situation, and when it says non-negotiable, um. You know, they just I forget what he calls the department that sends it down. Like they just don't. There's no talking back to him.
Yeah.
And I was like, was a similar situation that this person had another driver on his thing, and so I was like, "Oh, no, he had some accidents." I'm like, "That's the difference." It's like, it's a different situation. Just because it says non-negotiable in both, was like, in one scenario, I don't know what he did. I'm not saying it's justified, but whatever. His driving record was messed up. In my scenario, I am not. And so he goes and talks to the other department, and they're like, "Okay, they're saying that we can probably do it, but we need proof that you and your mother don't live at the same address." And I'm like,
Mm.
"I don't know why that's a thing," but I'm like, "Okay, well, you have been I've used this company just because bundling saves, and also
Yeah, yeah.
they've been my insurance for every apartment I've been in. So they have records of every move I made, and then also they're my insurance for my homeowner's
Yeah,
insurance, which is
yeah.
that's also, yeah, backtrack. I was to the point where I was like, F it, I'm out. I'll just go get
Yeah, yeah.
State Farm, Allstate. I don't know. I'll find somebody. And then I was like, hold up.
Why are they all named State?
I don't know. I'll get to that in a second. That's something side to
I
thing.
think it's just called
But
Farmers now, not
no, no,
State Farm.
no.
Oh,
See, you are in the same illusion as my mom, which we'll get to that in a second.
okay.
But anyways, what I was gonna say though is I'm just like, I'll just go somewhere else. But then I remember my homeowner's insurance, and I'm like, so they're like, well, yeah, one is we'll raise your, because when you bundle, you get cheaper. Like, we'll raise your homeowner's insurance, and I was like, okay. Then I'm obviously gonna take that with me, which is gonna be more of a hassle. So I was just like, listen, go talk to them. And like I said, so they come back, they say, I got to prove that my mom doesn't live with me. I'm like, well,
How would you like that?
they're like, we need like a piece of mail from her home address. And I'm just like, cool. Um, my mom
Which
who
is
doesn't,
jacked up.
I was like, my mom who doesn't live with me also gets all her mail to a P.O. box.
Oh,
So,
goody.
and they're like, yeah, P.O. box not going to cut it. And I'm like, okay, well, how do I prove? I mean, one is, you've seen me
That's
move.
bizarre.
I was like, you've seen me move 5 different times. You think I moved with my mother into my 30s 5 different
Hey, they
times?
don't know,
I
man.
know.
They don't
And so
know.
then I'm just like, what?
That happens. That
So then
happens.
I was like, what about my mom's driver's license that she just got? She actually just got her driver's license this year. So,
Yeah.
so it has her current home address. I'm like, that might work. I'm like, well, if it doesn't, like,
Yeah.
and so I sent that off to him. I'm still waiting to hear back. But I'm like, if it doesn't, get ready because I am going to be freezing out. So I'm like, this is now, it's
Yeah.
gotten to the point of not just out of convenience. I don't understand. I just want to raise him because, like, this is, to me, I'm like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
Like, this is incredibly
Yeah.
stupid that because my mom drove badly, now you're like, no, you can't have insurance with us when it has no
So,
reflection of me.
can she not have insurance?
Not with them.
Ah, gotcha.
I mean, she still has insurance. So speaking about this whole State Farm farmer's name, Allstate, my mom, and it's been a point of just annoyance. I've talked a little bit on this podcast about my mom having some memory issues. My mom somehow had both Farmers and State Farm
At the same
at the
time?
same time. Well,
Oh.
what happened was she had State Farm, and then I'm not sure if it was on accident or if she just wasn't paying attention. This was long before her memory issues when this would have been set up, but still, her job had farmers for her on
Mm.
her car and stuff. So, anyways,
Wait, her job paid her
like,
car insurance?
it came out of her paycheck in a
That's
sense.
weird.
Yeah,
That's
it's weird.
interesting.
I mean, and I
I
know
mean,
some
everything comes
jobs,
out of
yeah.
your paycheck at the
Yeah.
end.
But, anyways, so she was paying both of them for a while and stuff, and so she had this accident, and we fought everything through State Farm, and then we were like, "We gotta get rid of farmers because we don't want, like, a dual thing going on here," and so we go through all that, and during the whole time, my mom keeps saying, and a few other people keep saying, like, "Well, no, there's no more State Farm, it's all Farmers. Farmers bought State Farm," and I had to check multiple times just to make sure I wasn't the crazy one because everybody, just like you were just saying, like, everybody believes, and I'm like, State Farm's doing a bad job of advertising if everybody believes that they are farmers. Because, like, it wasn't just you and my mom. Other people are like, oh yeah, no, State Farm and Farmers merged. And then, like, I went online and looked it up like multiple times. Like, no, it says right here they are two completely different companies owned by different what is it, parent companies and all that. Even like, it's not even like they have the same parent. Like, they're two completely different companies. But almost everybody I meet is like, yeah, State Farm doesn't exist anymore. It's just Farmers. And I'm like, no. And all I'm like is like, whoever is behind advertising at State Farm doing a terrible job
Yeah.
because everybody believes your company doesn't exist
Yeah.
anymore.
And apparently State Farm is cheaper.
Yeah. Well, they should
Interestingly
really
enough.
be pushing that. Like, hey,
Yeah.
we're cheaper and we're here. Like, I just thought it was so bizarre that so many people I've talked to is like, no, it's just farmers. And I'm like, no, State Farm is its own thing.
Has a this is interesting. I'm looking at this website, usnews.com.
Mm-hmm.
And it's looking at like insurance ratings and it's comparing State Farm and Farmers. It says for customer service, State Farm is higher rated.
Mm-hmm.
Claims handling is higher rated,
Okay.
and tied for customer loyalty
Mm.
with
Mm.
Farmers.
I if you're listening and you work at State Farm, you guys gotta get on like
I'm sure they're doing fine
I mean, sure, I
financially,
guess.
but
But
yes,
I'm
they could be
just
better.
they
Yeah,
could be. I'm just saying. I bet you there's a lot of people who are with farmers who think that they're war with State Farm. You can maybe get some of them people, especially if you got better prices, more satisfaction. I'm just
yeah.
saying.
Which one? Shoot, what's the black actor that we like to see when he shows up at the
Oh,
bank?
oh yeah, that's Allstate. He's Allstate.
Allstate,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Allstate guy. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Which is I can't remember. He has the voice though.
yeah.
David something. It's David something.
It's not David
I'm
something.
pretty sure it's David.
I'm
I'm
gonna
about
look
to
him
say,
up. I'm gonna look him up.
look him up, because I'm pretty sure, because I know it's him and what's now I can't remember the guy.
Dennis
Oh,
Haysbert.
Dennis. Hey, I was at least in the same round.
Yeah. Dean Winters. I don't like him.
Yeah,
I
Dean
guess
Winters. That's about to say is
J.K.
their
Simmons is
other.
up into it.
Is he
Yeah,
with Allstate or so another
with
insurance?
Allstate. With Allstate.
J.K. Simmons. I don't know if
Yeah.
I've ever seen him in a commercial or heard him in a
Craig
commercial.
Robinson was doing it for a while. Jonathan Goldsmith.
Jonathan. Who's Jonathan Goldsmith?
The most interesting man in the world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. Weird. Weird.
Very interesting. Very interesting. But yeah, yeah.
Well,
So
yeah, I'm in the boat. I thought that I thought that State Farm renamed itself to Farmers.
yeah, yeah. You and everybody else.
I feel like there should be like some sort of lawsuit between those two
Oh,
companies over that.
I think that the fact that there's Farmer, State Farm, and Allstate, I'm like, you guys are not helping by having all your names basically the same thing. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
stop it. Stop it. This is how people make mistakes and end up with two insurance. I don't know how my mom had two insurance things.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Um,
For a while, I thought I was being charged twice for my internet.
oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need to call them and clear that up though, because apparently I'm being charged for some sort of Wi-Fi service, and I'm like, I have my own Wi-Fi router.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, no. I had the longest argument with and just back and forth because I got my cable and I'll say because I screw this company. I'm with Comcast and they on my bill I was being charged for a modem, which I ever
Did
since I got my own service. Like, no, I'm not.
Well, I mean, I have a modem from them,
Nah,
but I don't have
nah.
Wi-Fi.
No, I have my own modem, my own routers, all that stuff. And so I called them up. I'm like, hey, you guys are charging me $20 a month for a modem, and they're like, yeah, we have a modem on your account. And I was like, well, I don't have a modem. And they're like, well, can you bring it back? And I was like,
I don't have it.
I don't have a modem to bring back. Like I've never had a modem. It's like, and then they're like, well, then why would we put a modem on your account? Like that's why I'm calling you. Is I have my own
It's
modem.
called a mistake.
And they were so adamant that it's like, even if you aren't using our modem, we're still going to charge you to bring it back. And I was like, well, I've never had like I just back and
I'd be
forth
like, okay, what's the
arguing
MAC address? Let me.
and stuff. And so finally, what it turns out to be is when I signed up, which I always hate the when I signed up for my internet with them at my house, they were like, we offer a free 4K streaming TV streaming box.
Okay.
And I was like, cool, I don't need it. And they're like, well, it's free. And I was like, cool, I don't use it.
Yeah.
I don't need it. And they're like, well, why don't you just take it anyway? And it's like, I don't really want it. I don't care. And I don't want it. And they're like, well, it's free. And so eventually I was like, fine, give me the box. I took the box
Boy,
and
the
stuff.
sales training was strong with that one.
Yeah. And so I take the box, I use it like twice, and I was like, it's really slow compared to the other stuff I use and all stuff. So and then I just put it as it was free, and they said I didn't have to return it, so I just put it in a box in the closet, right?
Yeah.
So then somehow
5 years later.
that got turned into a modem that I never had
Oh.
on my account. And because he was like going back, we like went through bills, back through bills and stuff. And
Yeah.
eventually he was like, yeah, I see like I think it was like in April of 2022, we had a free streaming box on your account, and then in May of 2022 we had a modem, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I never made any changes. I was like, I never got any new equipment. So then he's like, okay, well, do you like your streaming box? And I was like, no, I don't use it. And he's like, okay,
Well,
well, could
bring it
you?
back.
Yeah, he was like, can you return that? And I'm like, if I can find it. And he was like, well, we'll remove the modem once you return that. And I was like, hold up. I was like, when I got this, you said free streaming box. And that's the only reason I took it. And I literally pushed back a bunch
Yeah.
because I know this is what you cable companies do. I was
Yeah.
just like,
I work
and
for
I
you
was like,
people.
I was just like, no, you take the modem off now. If I find your box, I might bring it back. I
Yeah.
was just so pissed at this dude because he was trying to like twist my arm. And I was like, you told me the box was mine. I didn't even want the box, but you said, hey, it's free. Why don't you take it? So I took it. Okay.
Yeah.
And now it's mine. If I find it, maybe I'll bring it back. But guess what? That has nothing to do with whether or not there's a modem on my account. Anyways, got
Yeah.
the modem released removed from my
Yeah, it's
account.
interesting having been in like inside the cable company for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was somebody working in IT.
Yep.
Of course, every now and then someone will come around and be like, "Hey, what internet service provider do you think I should go with?"
Mm-hmm.
And what speed. I'm like, "This is not related to the job
Yep.
or stuff." But I work for the government, so like anything I say is technically as a representative of the government,
Mhm.
even internally, especially when they're coming to me with a question that's unrelated to the job function.
Yep.
And then everybody's always like, "Hey, which internet company should I go to?" I'm like, "It's really touchy that I'm a government employee and that I'm gonna pick one for you, but also I've worked for all of them."
Yeah.
So like for me to pick one is like double dubious
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But they were talking about the provider that they had. They had gotten like they said they got a deal that was a lifetime arrangement.
Yeah.
And then it's like, but they just raised the bill by like 3 times, blah,
Mm-hmm.
blah, blah. And I was like, well, what were they charging? They were like, oh, I was getting a gig internet for $10 a month. I'm like, oh, I know exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
They were planning, they made a deal to sell the company.
Yep.
And then they wrote out a contract that was like, hey, you get $10 a month at per gig speed for life
Yep.
unless the company changes hands.
Yep.
And then they sold gangbusters of that package
Mm-hmm.
because most people don't know is that when one cable company buys another or a portion of part of the payment is based on subscriber count.
Yep.
So every head count that you have is an X dollar figure plus. So and these deals take like a year or two to go through
Mhm.
once you shake hands.
Yep. Oh, yeah,
There's
yeah.
so many
All
like
the regulations and all this,
approvals and
make sure that this isn't, even though it definitely is a monopoly,
yeah.
make sure this isn't monopolistic or whatever.
Also making sure that like, okay, we're gonna have to be able to like convert the billing
Yep.
data to your billing system. Like there's a
Mhm.
whole lot of moving pieces. So it takes like a year or two.
Yep.
But in that time, until like X date,
You're just adding as many
you
subscribers
add
as
as
you
many
can.
subscribers as you can. So you lower your stuff
Pump
to
up the
cost
numbers.
or under cost, and you pump up those numbers. I remember when the company we're working for bought another company, and then like 3 months later, this is back when I did customer service.
Mhm.
That company had sold phone, internet, and TV below cost in a package deal with a 1 year
Guarantee.
guarantee.
Yeah.
And of course, that 1 year expired after it landed on us. And they sold this package to everybody because
Oh,
who
yeah.
wouldn't take it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a $500 worth of services for like $100 a month or something.
Mhm.
And yeah, and then that was a nightmare when all those rolled off at the same time, and then we like raised their bill by $300 a month. And they're like, "What the hell?" And we're like, "Well, I mean, we're
Yeah. Yeah.
welcome to the new company.
Yeah.
Hope you like us too.
Yeah.
We're charging you extra money." It's such a racket,
I
man.
think also, and I'm just like, oh, great, things are just going to get worse. 'Cause I think right now there is and it's in front of the I don't know committee or whatever
Yeah.
who will approve it. I think
But by
Time
the way,
Warner.
to follow up on that, when I
Yeah,
was talking to that lady, it turned out that yeah, the company
yeah,
had just sold after she got her cool internet deal.
yeah, yeah. I think I now no, I think it's Cox Cable and
Well, I don't want
somebody
to. We
else.
shouldn't be saying names out here.
Sorry. No, well, no. That I mean, this is all in the public news of this. Is
Oh,
that
gotcha.
they're merging? And I was just when I saw this,
Merging with who?
I can't remember who. I think it's
Oh.
AT&T, Time Warner.
Ah, what? You know what? Look,
Oh, I'm just like,
if anything, I've learned from 15 years of working in the cable business is they trade and merge
oh yeah.
like that. I mean, that's how the
But
whole
the
game
big
works. Is you
ones
buy a section of
merging
territory
the big ones
from someone
merging is where the
else.
major changes happen, though, because the less of them there are, which there are 4, so there'll be down to 3, essentially, because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the big
No,
one.
there's a competition
Yeah.
problem for sure. Uh, and that's a longer story. But no, I mean the way that it works is you have a company
Yep.
and they've neglected a
Uh,
section of their footprint
mhm.
for some time, and then a new company comes in or maybe another company, they've gotten some funding,
Yep.
they buy that from you for dirt cheap,
Yep.
they upgrade it, and then in 10 years or something, they sell it to the net to another person,
Mhm.
being like, "Hey, look at this nice, pretty packaged
I
bow that
mean,
we put together,"
that's what I always said about the company
and
we
then the
work
cycle
for
continues.
is like we're just because the company we work for is very heavily in the same area as Comcast, and I was
Yeah,
just like, is the end game? We're just waiting until we get big enough that Comcast decides, okay, we can buy them
yeah,
now and then
absolutely,
stuff.
absolutely,
I was just like, yeah, that's what I just
absolutely.
started when we were working there. I
I
was just
just,
like, yeah, this is
I,
that's how this ends. It's
I
Comcast eventually is like, okay, they're big enough, we'll buy them. And now that they've done all the work for us, they've laid all
yeah.
that stuff. It's yeah, it's ridiculous.
Were you there in the early days of phone ops when we were doing phone stuff? When we bought the territory for that small county in Oregon
I think so.
that had never had competition.
Yes.
Like that was crazy. So
Mm-hmm.
going into the phone ops world and
Yeah.
where me and Donnell met,
Yeah.
uh
Different times. Different
there was
times.
there's lots of government subsidies for stuff for internet and telephone in rural areas.
Yep. Yep.
And there was an area that had cable TV, but they didn't have like internet. Oh, they probably had internet, but they didn't have phone service.
Yeah.
That was the big key. Is they didn't have phone service. And we came in and we had VoIP phone, right? So you didn't
Mm-hmm.
need to run the standard phone lines. You could just
Yep.
do it over the cable TV service. You know, the same pipe,
Exactly.
right? We just had to install a special modem for that. Oh man, what was it called? MTA?
Yeah. MTA.
Oh my God, I can't remember. Can't believe I remember that acronym, the MTA device. Anyway,
Yep.
uh, I don't like that.
I know.
I don't like that.
Getting back
It's
into
as
it.
soon as I start talking about it, I start remembering the acronyms. I start remembering the acronyms. Oh God, the CLEC, the LEC, the oh no,
It's
oh
ingrained in
no,
it's ingrained in
oh
you.
no.
It's
Okay,
ingrained
okay.
in you,
Anyway, so
Robert.
we came in, and there was a phone company there that had no competition because they were a phone company and they were subsidizing all their lines.
Yep.
They were charging their customers for like $100 a month for one phone line and then getting like $200 a month or something from government subsidies. So they're
Mm.
making $300 a phone line,
Yeah.
right? And we came in offering like 1995 a month for a phone line. I
Yeah.
remember fighting with them and like we had to get lawyers involved
Mhm.
because we like came in and then we were doing porting
Yep.
where you can move your phone number from one phone service to another. I remember the first time that I reached out to them and they're like, "Hey, we sent you a port request and we didn't get a response."
Yeah.
And I had to call and talk to like their head, phone engineer guy. And I was like, "Yeah, you need to, set up the transfer." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "You need to give us the phone number because the customer's porting over to us as their service."
Yeah.
He's like, "You can't do that."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, we
Mhm.
can. Like it's the law
Mhm.
and all this stuff, and they like
I remember you
they
arguing
weren't
on the
even
phone.
set up to do it and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And then like he was like, "Well, who's gonna pay for all these overhead costs for working through the I can't remember what the system was. We used
Yeah.
the national system. We used to port phone numbers. I don't want to remember."
Don't try. Leave it in the
And
past,
then
Robert.
yeah, right, right. I'm not talking about it. And then like
Uh,
he was like, I'm like, "You gotta pay for it, man. It's the cost of doing business.
mhm.
We pay for our side of the things.
Yep.
We make the service level agreement and all that stuff." And and then I remember like we would send a port request, and then the company would send out get the port because we basically the way it works is customer calls you,
Yep.
orders the phone service,
Yep.
but I want to keep my phone number, which is something that the law says that they can do,
Mhm.
and you send the port request to the other provider, and then there's a whole bunch of moving parts, and you
Yeah.
get to know all the phone providers and your competing
Yep.
phone providers, and you're all
You know all.
buddies. I like it
Mhm.
that like sometimes those phone providers would be like, "I hate you,"
Yeah.
but
No,
then
that's what I
sometimes
was thinking about.
they would be like, "Look, we're all just
Yeah.
doing the same job here. You
I
take
always
my numbers,
loved
I take your numbers. Sometimes it just
there were certain
let
people
the
like
numbers
I
flow."
don't remember, of course, don't remember name, but I remember like there was always when I would be
Oh, you
calling
got to
like
know those
Verizon or
have
something,
one
and
contact at
I'd be
every
like,
place.
"Please be blah blah blah," and
Yeah.
when they'd pick,
No,
I'm
no,
like,
you
"Ah,
you
sweet."
ended up getting their emails and phone
Yeah.
numbers and
Oh
making
yeah. When
connections and
because you
yeah.
were all in the same boat. You
It
know
was
what's
a
going down.
it was a small world and
Yeah.
y'all knew each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um but no, and then like we would say yeah, we'd send the report request and then whoever received the report request would send it to their door-to-door salesperson and send them out there and they would shit
Go out
talk.
there and hammer that
They would yeah,
customer
they
to
would
try and get
shit
them to stay.
yeah, and that's super illegal, so we had to get
Mhm.
lawyers. I was a crazy stuff, man. But no, this company was totally taking advantage of the customers and the government
Yeah.
all the way around and just making tons of money
Yeah. Of course.
without any of the overhead because they just had no competition.
Yeah.
So yeah, competition is good because they had it,
Exactly.
that company folded. That company
Yeah, I
folded,
can
man.
bet.
Like once they stopped being able to grift everybody, yeah,
That's
we were
insane.
just.
That's
I mean, there
insane.
was no way they were ever going to compete.
Yeah, the Wild West
I
of
mean, it
phone
sounds
ops.
terrible. It sounds like a bigger company coming in and smashing
Yeah, but
a small town company, but it was no. This small town company was taking
yeah, but I'll
advantage
say
of people.
they're out here abusing the system and being
Yeah,
like, yeah, we're getting paid twice, we're getting charging way
yeah,
more than it should be, and stuff. And
yeah.
so like that company,
One of the few times the larger company was the good guy. I mean, they're still the bad guy, but they're
still the bad guy, the lesser of
the
two
better.
evils. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. Company's always the bad guy.
All right, let's talk about some news, Don.
Yeah, got some news.
None of
Got
these
some.
articles have I been made previously aware of, only in case they fell across my feed, but I don't really have a feed, so.
Yep, yep. All right, I got a couple of stories. Our first story is I wanted to cover this one because happened right here in Washington, Robert.
Oh,
Right here in
which means
Washington.
I really don't know about
Yep.
it.
Uh,
I don't even know the name of our mayor or governor or our mayor.
yeah.
Jay Inslee, is that still a guy?
No, he's out. He's
Okay.
out. We replaced him this last election. I can't remember with who, but yeah.
And I don't know if he was the governor or the mayor.
He was the governor.
Governor.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, yep. He was.
Feel like I should know this. Governor. I don't know who my senators are. I don't know
I
who my representative is.
well, okay. I don't know them by name, but I have looked up my senators and representatives just because
Bob Ferguson.
is our governor.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
A Democrat.
Of course, it's Washington.
Yeah.
uh, all right. Anyways, story from Washington. Here it is. Millions of honeybees abuzz after truck overturns in Washington state.
Oh, 250 million, right?
They don't say. They do it by yeah, 250 million. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I saw this article just today.
Yes.
Just for a brief second, I read a headline.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
So
By the
this
way,
was on Friday.
next edition of Final Destination.
Yes.
Like never in my mind would I believe that a 18-wheeler passing me on the highway was filled with 250 million
Million
bees.
bees. Yes.
Oh, what is with Rick and Morty? It's like 1 billion ants,
Yeah.
man. I'm like 250 million
Million
bees,
bees.
man.
Yeah. Uh so the truck hauling an estimate, and here's the thing, I'm just like, I mean, I guess this is also the hives, and probably, I mean, probably a lot, but it's 70,000 pounds
Yeah, that
of
makes sense.
honeybee hives rolled over at
Oh, that
4
seems
a.
light to me for 250 million bees.
Yeah, I don't. At 4 a.m., close to the Canadian border in near Linden,
It was an attack.
it appears the driver did not navigate the tight turn well, causing the trailer to roll into a ditch. County Emergency Management spokesperson Amy Cloud said in an email. Driver was uninjured. Uh, deputies, county public worker
He didn't get
employees,
stung.
people get stung, but maybe he didn't. They don't say specifically. But deputies, county public workers, employees, and several bee experts responded to the scene. The box hives later came off the truck, and local beekeepers swarmed to help. They
Swarmed.
love all
Swarmed.
these stories. I'm just gonna let you know
Swarmed.
all these stories I have too much of this pun
Yeah.
stuff going on. But swarmed to help recover, restore, reset the hives according to the sheriff. The plan is to allow the hives are on the side of the road because the plan is to allow the bees to return to their
Yeah.
hives and find
As
their
long as you
queen in
got
the
the
next
queen
day
there,
or
which
two.
she doesn't really leave, then the
Yeah,
bees will
but
come
then like,
back.
how do you keep that? Like, okay, so three bees come back. How do you keep those three bees in while you wait for the rest of the hive? Like, that's what I just don't understand. Like, how you get all the bees in the hive? Like, are they going to go back out to get some more flowers?
I think you like smoke them so that way they become
Mm.
docile or something.
The goal is to save as many bees as possible. And then here's the two things I wanted to read because both of these I'm just like, I just what? Thank you to the wonderful community of beekeepers. And then here it is. Over 2 dozen showed up to help us ensure rescue our pollinating bee population. And I'm just like, where do you find 24 beekeepers on a Friday afternoon? Like they
In
so
Blaine, Washington, like
just all
that's
just come rolling up. They're just like, what? Is there a panic button you hit where they
I bet I'm
scramble the beekeeper?
there's probably a mailing list.
I guess, but
Look, they I
are
mean,
they
look,
all near the Canadian border?
I'm just
I
well,
just
that's
imagine
far
beekeepers would
there's a lot
be
of farming stuff
I
going on at
guess.
the Canadian border. That's, that's kinda rural
Yep.
Washington State, and,
Yeah.
I mean, they need the bees to pollinate the things. I mean, that's up near the Tulip Festival where they do all the flowers,
True,
and they need the
true.
bees to do that. That's why they were transporting all the bees is to
Yeah.
pollinate some field somewhere.
Yeah. All right. So then the public was advised to avoid the area on Friday, with Saris deputies diving into squad cars to avoid being
Yeah.
stung. And then this the last part of this is where Alan Woods comes in, and I just feel like Alan Woods lives in a different world than us because this is Alan Woods. Alan Woods, president of the Washington State Beekeeper Association, told the newspaper the state should have a standardized emergency bee response for bee vehicle crashes. Like, how often do you think bee vehicle crashes? Like,
I mean, in the
why
farmlands?
don't we have a standardized response for this? I'm like, Alan, the rest of it, like, I know that bees
Yeah,
are
I mean,
crucial, but I'm just like, Alan, you live in a different world. I mean, yes, for Alan, president of the Beekeeper Association, I imagine bees are like the biggest part of his life.
yeah.
For the rest of us, though, we're like, you think we should have a like in the book somewhere a standardized grab what another bee crash? Grab the manual.
I mean, they pulled in 24 bee people
Mm-hmm.
within, like, hours.
Yeah, within
It
hours.
sounds like there's a standardized
Sounds
process.
like they handled it
You're
pretty
just
well.
not part of it.
Yeah, and stuff.
By the
But
way, I just looked up the mayor of Kirkland, Washington, and it looks exactly like a SimCity what I expect a SimCity creation of the mayor of Kirkland, Washington would look like. Name and all.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Kelly Curtis.
Kelly
She
Curtis.
looks like she is the mayor. If I saw her on the street and didn't know anything, I'd be like,
You're the
"You look
mayor
like
of
the
Kirkland.
mayor of Kirkland."
Um, Last line is in 2000 because apparently, I mean, this is a 10-year difference and also way less bees. But Allen quoted that in 2015, 14 million bees escaped from a truck in North Seattle
Yeah, those are
interstate
those are small
and
numbers.
started stinging people. Stinging people. So that is his basis for why we need to have a standardized response. Is once a decade there's a bee incident.
I mean, you just have it on the books,
Yeah.
and then when it comes up, you do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the CDC plans for zombie apocalypses, FEMA and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wait, really?
Yeah, they have a zombie apocalypse thing, and they've run tests.
They've run simulation
Yeah,
for like a little practice. Okay, all right,
yeah,
all right.
just in case.
This is a real quick one. I just like it because I just want to know like what the conversation was like after this. So here it is. Tripping hikers mistakenly report companion's death. Officials say.
Okay,
So, two hikers in New York Aradak Mountains called 911 to report a third member of the party had died, but it turned out they had taken hallucinogenic mushrooms and were mistaken,
perfect,
officials said.
perfect.
A state forest ranger responded to a call Saturday about a hiker who had reportedly died on the Cascade Mountain, popular summit in the Aradak High Peaks. The two hikers who called 911 also told a steward on the mountain summit that they were lost. The steward determined that the hikers were in an altered mental state. The supposedly dead person later called and informed him he was not injured. That's the end of the story. I
Fantastic.
just love that guy's probably like sitting at home watching the news, be like, "Dead." I told him I was leaving early. I had to get up for a
Yeah,
flight
yeah,
in the
yeah.
morning. What the heck?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not dead. You idiot. Uh,
That'd be funny if he just didn't say anything. Just let it
didn't
just let's
contact. Just
let it
let it
play
play
out.
out.
Let's
Just
let
see
it
what
play out.
happens.
There's insurance money involved, like
Uh,
Man, I thought I read a story a while back about a guy who was declared dead fraudulently or whatever to collect the insurance money,
mm-hmm.
but it didn't go to the person who was like had him declared dead. He got it somehow.
Okay.
And then like the insurance company came after him to like get the money back.
Yeah.
And he was like, "But I'm dead." And he went to court and the courts were like, "Yeah, he's dead."
Yeah.
But he's right here. He's like, "Yeah, but on paper."
Yeah. We
That's
have
what
paper
matters is what's
showing
on
he's
paper.
dead.
And like because he couldn't he like I mean it's hell on earth apparently to get re-alived. I'm done with
Oh
the
yeah.
unalive
No,
stuff. I'll
I
re-alive this.
I saw this story that was about. It wasn't for fraud, but somehow she was the insurance or some company had mixed up her social security number with another person and declared her dead, and
Mhm.
then it took her so long to get re-alive. Like all
Yeah.
the work, like it's easy, just a couple numbers and instantly you're dead. But then if you want to be like, no, I'm not dead, like you are fighting legal cases for a
Yeah.
while, made even harder by the fact that it's hard to get a lawyer when you're dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Or show up to court without a driver's license
Yeah,
because you're
yeah. Like your social security number
You're
is no
pre
longer valid.
you're
So you can't anything that requires
pre-realized.
yeah, anything that requires your social security number, which is a lot of legal services and a lot of
Yeah.
driver license, like you can't get. And I'm just like, this is insanity to be like, I'm fighting, like I'm not
Yeah.
dead. I'm right. I'm not dead.
Yeah.
Like, what more do you
I'm as
need?
alive as I've ever been. Fighting for my re-alivening. Oh,
All right, I got
that's
two
good.
small stories coming from Indianapolis 500, which apparently just
Oh, okay.
recently happened. I keep no track of race seasons, but
No track, Donnell.
there's enough of these
You
puns in the
well,
stories, Robert.
why you
I don't
dropping
need it
more?
wasn't on purpose. So here's the headline, and this is just one of the things I did not know this was. I mean, I don't keep track of. Anyways, folks, that's it if we're talking
Yeah.
today. No,
You know,
but no,
do you not stay
I
tuned?
don't keep my finger on the pulse of racing. So I did not know this was a tradition, but here it is. Here's the headline. Holy cow, Pato O'Ward finally milks a cow before Indy 500, hoping to break his streak of heartbreak.
I don't understand that sentence, and I would like to just move on.
Well, so here's the thing.
Is he fucking the cow?
No, but apparently, and this is I don't know in why. Maybe
He's a
it's
he's a he's a NASCAR
he's
driver,
an Indy driver.
and
Different.
he's
They're different.
unlucky in love?
No, no, no. The heartbreak is that he has never won an Indy race yet,
Okay. Well, the
and his
Indy
streak.
500 is a NASCAR race,
No,
isn't it?
no, it's Indy is a different thing. Indy is a separate thing from. So NASCAR is closed wheeled, where you have the full car. Indy is this, where you have the wheels
Oh,
exposed.
okay.
Yes. Um, Technically, I've always said this, and if you're a NASCAR fan, come at me. I feel like Indy is more entertaining and because of the level of danger of open wheeled cars versus
Mm.
closed wheel. Like NASCAR, even though you can't like ram, like they're bumping up against each other all the
Yeah,
time
but that's
because
the fun of
where in
the
Indy, like
stock car,
if
like
if your wheel catches another wheel, it's done. Cars
what's
flying.
crazy is how safe they've made those cars
Yeah,
all around, not just Indy, but like also
yeah,
stock car and
mhm.
like yeah.
Anyways, so here's the thing. So apparently, when if you Rob, I mean, you're obviously not at this stage of your life, but let's say young Robert grew up driving go karts,
Yeah.
got really into racing, got it,
By the way,
had the
real life
parents.
Robert did not get his first car till he was 30.
Yeah. But and stuff. Did all this life, and so you graduate, you work your way into a racing school because those are a thing, and do all the stuff. You get yourself an amateur team. You finally make it to the big leagues. You make it to Indy. You're a rookie, and it's your first time driving the Indy 500, the biggest race they have. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Apparently, all rookies, the morning of their race, go and they bring cows to the track.
They have to bring their own
No, no,
cow?
no, no. no.
Oh, okay.
They
I'm
bring
like,
cows to the track, and
I would
then
expect a cow
before
to
you
be provided
race,
for me, okay?
before you race, you milk said cow.
All right.
Why? They don't tell me in this
I
story.
they That's
Um,
bad journalism
yeah,
if they don't explain
yeah.
that.
I don't know
But what
why.
does it got to do with love?
Well, not love. His heartbreak is the heartbreak of not winning a race. He hasn't won a race yet. So
Oh.
he became a Indy driver in 2023 during COVID.
Okay.
So since COVID was in effect, they didn't do the cow milking. So for his rookie, and apparently
Why?
he attributes I
Why?
don't know why,
Were they
but
afraid the cows were gonna get
he
COVID?
attributes the fact that he has not won anything yet is because he has not properly
Oh.
entered Indy racing, which means you need to milk a cow. So for this Indy 500 this year, they brought in a cow just for him because there were no rookies,
Oh.
and he milked said cow. Now, you were going in a weird route, thinking it was something to do with love. But now I'm going to read his quote about his experience, and you might not be as far as you think. Because I did like what this man says. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. I feel weird even reading this. But here it is. Here's his quote about it. Is woke up for some morning milking, and it was a really cool experience. He said, flashing a big smile. Very warm. Gotta warm her up. Yeah, she was fabulous. Did you see the video? You'll see it first try. I'm like, bro, what the hell are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? You were milking a cow, but it does not sound like you were milking the cow.
By the way, this is like
Just like, what the hell is this man saying?
that this is okay. So, rookie Indy 500 drivers traditionally milk a cow before the race as a pre-race ritual. This is a good luck charm, a tradition that started in guess.
Indianapolis? I don't know.
What? No, what year?
Oh, I don't know, 1987. I don't know.
2016.
2016. Okay, so this is
That's
not a.
late.
That's not a
Yeah,
real.
yeah. When Alexander Rossi milked a cow and went on to win his 100th Indy 500 or whatever. Since then, every winner has followed suit. Yeah.
So there's a little bit
So
more.
wait, okay, how often do they do the Indy 500? I thought that was a yearly event, but
Yeah,
you can't. Oh, he won the
100
100th
Indy
one.
500. Yeah, it's
Okay, he
once a
didn't
year.
win his 100th one. I was like, how they just throwing a skeleton behind the wheel?
Yep.
The
So
cars they drive
I didn't
themselves.
actually see this part at the end, but once again, I have questions about this Pato O'Ward character, just with everything he says. Because so, anyways, they have more from the interview where Schwartzman, who is I don't know who, oh Robert Schwartzman, who
I
earned
just want to
oh
know
for
what's
the
going
press
on with
conference.
Alexander
Anyway,
Rossi.
is he says you have to milk the cow. Schwartzman describing his personal experience, which was very calm and cute. Oh, with a very calm and cute cow named Indy, which I'm like, what is going on with these men and milking this cow? Because that's another driver.
It doesn't
To
sound like you
which
have to do
to
it. It's
which
just they
Award
choose to do
declared,
it.
I'm going to find a cow and I'm going to milk it tonight. And I'm like,
Whoa.
Mr. Award, you and this
Whoa.
cow stuff is getting a little
Whoa.
weird. I have
You know
concerns.
how he takes his milk? Raw.
uh,
Unpasteurized, baby.
all right. Last, still with Indy 500, but there's a different story. So this year at
That
Indy
was a good
500,
story. That was a good story.
um,
uh,
they so talk about traditions. A new tradition, which it's supposedly I guess is happening because this was the inaugural, the first time they've done it, is at the Indy 500 before the big race. They have which after this story I hate, but once you know what it is, it won't be as weird. They have the Weenie 500.
now we're taking it up a gear.
Yes, but the Weenie 500 is where
Nothing. Okay, no.
six. They have six, all representing a different major hot dog, like the Chicago dog. But they have six of the what is that company called? Uh, Oscar
Oh,
Mayer
I was just gonna say Oscar
Wienermobiles,
Mayer. Okay.
and they race the Indy 500 track.
Nice. I like
And
that.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm there for that race. I'm there for that race.
There's more than one?
Yeah, they have multiples of them.
Mm.
This year, the Chicago Dog truck won.
Oh, okay.
So that was our winner was Chicago Dog. They had
This
Coney
is
Island.
fun. I like it.
They had the Coney Island dog there. It did not win. It did not win.
I feel
But
like Coney Island dogs kind of probably falling off.
mhm.
I feel like hot dogs are going not in style these
I
days.
still like a good
I
hot
like a
dog.
good hot dog from
Yeah,
time to
yeah.
time, but they're not like.
Ever since I got my Costco membership, I get
I tell you
myself
what,
a
I'm not
dog and a
buying when
drink.
I go to the theater is
A
a
hot
hot
dog.
dog.
Yeah, but they have ads for it. I'm like, who? I just feel like I've never seen anybody with a hot
Yeah.
dog. Like I've seen, yeah, yeah, of course, popcorn. I've seen people with the nachos, the candy, and all that stuff. I've never been, but multiple theaters have them, and I'm like, who's that for? Who is this person? Because I don't think they exist. Because
Wild hot dogs are very dubious.
yeah,
Like
no,
in the home grown or home cooked sausages are dubious
yeah,
to say
yeah.
the least. But a wild like gas station hot dog or a or a
No, no,
or
no,
a
no, no,
or
no,
a
no. If you are in a sad stage of your life, if you walk into a gas station and you grab a gas station hot dog. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying that's probably when you need to start reevaluating
that's
life. Start
that's when
trying
you
to
go and crash a truckload full of beans. You get that hot dog.
gas station hot
Uh,
dog.
there was that hot dog place that was really good though. That was in front of the cooking
Oh yeah,
supply
Dandy
store.
Dogs.
Dandy
I still
dogs
I still
in a
swing by
parking
there.
lot you weren't allowed to park in.
You are now allowed to put that. So that
There we
store
go.
closed and another store is there, and they removed all the "you can't park" signs because I was like, I don't freaking get it. I don't get it. It is more than a
Oh
big enough parking lot.
man, there was like I was traveling once. I mean, I've traveled many times, but I ended up like getting some drive through. And then I was just getting in the car, but then I was like, you know what? It's a nice night. I want a cigarette. Like I'm just gonna pull into a parking lot and eat my food and sit on my car and whatnot. And I pulled into a mattress place, I want to say, but something innocuous like that,
Mhm.
right? That was a converted super Walmart. And so it had 10,000 parking spots.
Yeah.
I'm like, how many how does the finances of this situation work?
Yes. Yes.
Like, you don't need 10,000 parking spaces or a super Walmart floor space for mattresses. And this was not a large city.
Yep. Yep.
This was small town.
But I mean, hey, if the building was
Not even big enough to
unoccupied.
support a super Walmart.
I'm about to say if the building was unoccupied and the mattress place has enough money.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
All right,
Let's not
Robert.
even talk about my mattress situation. Oh my gosh. I don't know how old my mattress is. I've never bought one,
Okay.
like from a store.
Right. Right.
The mattress I have, I'm not talking about this. Okay, no, I'll talk about
I
it.
mean, you got to. You
I'll talk
started it.
about it. It's the waning days of the Watchin It
It's
Podcast. I'll talk
there.
about it. My mattress I bought for $20 from a friend of mine 20 years ago. It was their grandmother's who had just died. And Lord only knows how long Granny
Was on that mattress.
had the mattress. It was well worn. It was comfy. I have never had a girl in my bed who did not wake up in the morning going, "You have a comfortable mattress." I'm like, "Yeah, because it is seen years.
It has
It is,
been worked in.
yeah, it is not straight off the factory floor. It has been used as a multi-generational device." I mean, I don't even want another mattress at this point. I just,
Yeah, yeah, you're kind of committed at this point. Ain't nothing
yeah,
wrong
it's
at
like
all.
I like my
Yeah,
mattress. It's good.
fantastic. All right,
All
Robert.
right.
For our last story, we have an update on our previous Talking It news story.
Oh,
So, few months back, Robert,
like
I
don't be
brought
the guy in the
no,
wolf
it's
suit.
it's not
Okay.
it's not the dog man anymore. There's no new news about the
I'm
dog
tired
man.
of making fun of the dog
It's
man
not
because
the
he's a
dog man
sad.
anymore.
He's
It's not
just
the
this
dog
is
man. This is completely different. This comes from England, not
okay.
China, Japan. I can't
Trying to
remember
think
where it is.
whatever stories we went through about England.
You'll know as soon as I say. So a few months ago, I told you a story about a heist that involved the stealing of a golden toilet.
Yes, you did.
Yes.
Yes, you
So
did.
we have an update.
Okay.
Man who tried to sell $6.4 million gold toilet stolen from England's country house is spared from jail.
Oh.
So, man who helped a burglar uh
Why would they know? They just try to sell the toilet straight up instead of melting it down.
well, I think after this the rest of the thieves. So the rest of the thieves did because a man who tried to help a burglar cash in from the theft of a golden toilet valued at $6.4 million was spared jail Monday after the British judge said he had been taken advantage of by the thieves. Which I think this judge is really being lenient because when the rest of the story, I'm like, it doesn't sound like he was
Dude
forced
stole a
or
toilet,
coerced.
you
Well, no,
know?
this man did not steal the toilet. He
Okay.
was the connections man.
Oh, he was the
They
fence.
came to him with the golden toilet, and because well, not the fence. He knows people. All they say is he knew people in the jewelry market, which I'm like, what does that mean? Because I had to, a jeweler's not buying a golden toilet. If you're trying to move a golden toilet and you go to this guy because he knows people, it's like they're doing shady stuff in the jewelry market.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Which is another reason why, like,
I mean, I'm just saying this sounds like a fence to me, but go on.
yeah, maybe offense. But anyways,
The
spare.
toilet broker.
Frederick Doe, 37, also known as Frederick Signs, I don't know why, but was given a suspended sentence at the Oxford Crown Court for his role in helping to sell a 18 karat fully functioning toilet, which was taken in 2019 from the Blenheim Palace. Uh, this was those responsible for this audacious heist. 5 individuals could be seen on CCTV where they clearly intended to dispose of their ill-gotten gains quickly. You foolishly agreed to assist, which I'm like, then why he not be? I'm not saying he should or shouldn't be punished, uh, but at the end of the day, I'm like, it sounds like he willingly. They came to him. He wasn't coerced. But anyways, the toilet weighed over 215 pounds. The
That seems
value
light to me.
yeah, that's what it weighed. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean,
The
it's gold.
value of the
Yeah.
gold at the time was 2.8 million pounds, which is insured for 4.74 million pounds.
That
So
seems odd.
insured for more than it's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I mean, I guess there's like artistic value on top of the gold value.
Yeah. The group, as we talked about, the group smashed a window to get into the palace before dawn, and smashed out a wall to remove the toilet. Only two, not including Doe, our guy, our fence, but only two have been captured and convicted. The other
Okay.
three still in the wind.
Nice.
The toilet,
Like a
nev-
fart.
Yeah, the toilet never been found.
Do you
And
think
they
Donnell, do you
Hmm?
think they'll ever flush them out?
Stop it, stop it.
That's
Anyways,
all I'm doing over here is trying to think of puns. I'm like, this story brought to you by William Henry Commode the Third. Anyway, go on. Donnell just
um,
looks, he's just upset. He's
I'm
just
just
done.
it's just enough. No. Anyways, the prosecutors believe that the three remaining suspects probably, which I'm like, I feel like the two who got caught were and this guy Doe were the dumb people involved with this crime, because, or maybe they wised up after they saw three of them get caught. Is they theorize that the remaining three suspects probably broke down the toilet and sold it in individual chunks. I'm like, yeah, that's what you do in the first place. You don't
You
try and
melt it
roll into
down,
some
yeah.
place, because you roll. We're selling a golden toilet. They're gonna ask you where you got the golden toilet, and then when they
Yeah.
look on the news, no one's buying it unless they're a criminal. And like no criminal wants a golden toilet either. So I'm just like, yeah, I feel like the two guys who got caught in Doe or came to Doe like looking to move a toilet. And Doe was like, I'm going to help you sell this toilet. And then they got caught because of it. And the other three guys are probably like, you think maybe we shouldn't be trying to move a golden toilet?
Yeah.
maybe we should melt this down. Maybe just some gold bricks probably be a lot easier to get rid of.
You know what you gotta do is you gotta write up a work order,
Mhm.
right? Like a contract.
Right.
And you gotta take it to the nearest Trump hotel
Well,
and just install it. And then say like, we installed the golden toilet. Someone needs to sign this document saying
yeah,
that you're gonna pay us our
yeah,
$2.3 million. And then you take them to court.
yep.
And you say, we installed the golden toilet.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the photos.
Mm-hmm.
We got it signed on. We got it signed. Where's the money?
So I
Give us
can't.
our money.
I don't know if you remember this or not. I might if I told it the first time in the story, is that the piece was during his first term was offered to President Donald Trump.
Shocked, I tell you, shocked.
It was done more as a dig because it was during his first term when he asked if he could
Again, shocked, I tell you, shocked.
purchase a Van Gogh painting from a museum. So during one of Trump's many trips abroad to England during his presidency, he just walked into the British Museum and was like, I want to buy that picture. Like, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. You
Yeah.
can't. But anyways, and they were like, well, you can't have the Van Gogh, but we'll give you the golden toilet, which I'm really surprised Trump said no to.
Yeah.
Just feel like Trump would be like, gold, you say? But yeah, so yeah, it was offered to Trump at one point.
He's like, I've already got enough.
Yeah. But yeah. I wherever the three remaining criminals are. Also, mad props to the two who got caught and didn't turn on their other companions or whatever. Didn't rat them out.
I mean, that'd be pretty shitty if they did.
That's it for the Talking It Podcast.
Yeah. Anyway, we got one more Talking It coming.
Yeah.
Got a couple more watchings coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check out our website. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, review. I don't know. You haven't been.
Yeah. You know.
That sounds so mad. That sounds so mad. I really don't
Robert's
care.
not bitter about this at all, guys.
It's like, okay, you fuckers. I hope you enjoyed the content.
Nothing like the ending episodes of the podcast. You just let everything out.
Don't give a shit.
Let the hair down.
I hope 250 million bees attack you on the.
That's a little much, Rob. Anyways, thank you so much for listening.
I've been drunk this whole time.